Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of It's a Sure Thing, the conscious community collective show that showcases people that are living their authentic self and sharing their passion and love with others and making a difference by being themselves, by being leading by example. So please let people know, let your friends and family know, share the love around, and let them know that we're going live on the Enlightened Tribe page and other pages as well. And yes, please join us. We have got an amazing guest here tonight. We did try and see this lady a few weeks ago, but we were both doing things remotely and it just didn't happen. So apologies if you did join that live and then we cut out, unfortunately. So it's wonderful to have this beautiful lady back. I've known her for a number of years, and she did a photo shoot of me at my sanctuary a few years ago. And I don't like being photographed. I don't like being filmed either like this, but hey, you've got to go out of your comfort zone sometimes. So I've got really can't wait for you to meet this amazing lady who's going to debunk the fears of being photographed and talk you through ways that you can enjoy it and love it. So without further ado, please welcome the beautiful Amy Agnew. How are you, Amy?
Hi, Sue. I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Oh, so much better that we are doing this from the comfort of our own homes, hey?
We finally got there.
We finally got there. Okay, beautiful. So you have been a photographer for 11 years, is that correct?
I have, yeah.
So what made you get into photography as a business, Amy?
So I can't really remember ever not wanting to do photography. It's always kind of been there, and it's just pretty much been straight out of school. Anytime I tried to venture out somewhere else, I would just always come back to photography. It just ticks so many boxes for my life. And I just think it's like the biggest gift to have it as a tool to be able to meet people and go places, and the inner work that's required and that I get to see other people bring forward as well. Like you just said, when you don't like being photographed, how much it can bring up. It's awesome and it's really fulfilling. I love it.
That's fantastic. So you do mainly portrait photographs?
Yep, I'm all faces. Yeah. I'm interested in people and faces pretty much.
Yeah. And I know we talked about this before with the face reading that I do and then the photography that you do. Really fascinating how some people just kind of go, oh gosh, you can't read my face, or don't take a photograph. And then other people go, oh, what can you see what can you see in me? So I love that artistry and creativity that you have. And I remember when you came to do the photography for me and you said, have you got any professional photographs? I'm like, no. And you made me feel so comfortable.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I was actually going to ask for you, like, how does it feel for you to have a photo that you feel, well, hopefully you'd feel like it represents you, but like what difference has that made?
Huge, because you captured my essence and you captured me in my natural environment, in my sanctuary, and you just did it in such a way that you were snapping away while we were chatting and you just caught those natural moments. So for any of the people that are watching that have seen the assets that we create for this show, that photograph of me on there was taken by Amy. It was taken by you, wasn't it? So
we do need an update. It's a little bit old, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. And also, and wherever you go. Now, with regards to what you want to do and what you are doing moving forward with your photography, which is one of the reasons why we've got you on the show as well, is you're interested in collaborating with others.
Yeah. So what I'd like to get into is it's almost so attending retreats or events and photographing your guests there. So I'd come and I'd set up, and then it would be like a little mini photo shoot for each person. And I feel like it just complements so well with those retreats that people are either going in to go into themselves, to learn more about themselves, or to get out of their shell a little bit. And you can just learn so much about yourself through a photo shoot. And I haven't really seen it team up so much. So yeah, that's where I'm heading.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So some nature shots as well. And I know that we're kind of looking at doing something with the Enlightened Tribe further on down the track, and coming to Mount Gambier, because you're from Mount Gambier, aren't you?
Yes. So Millicent near Mount Gambier, but yeah, we go between them both. And it's a beautiful little spot. Yeah, I do love it.
So how fantastic would it be to be out in nature and by the Blue Lake and all those other beautiful scenes, to be able to take some beautiful shots of people when they're on retreat, when they're relaxed, and they're in that other state, and you're capturing that authenticity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, I know this retreat is already, or the day retreat that you've got coming up is already just about booked out, but just to let people know about it, because these are the kind of things that you will be putting on your website soon, and also on the sueshaw.com.au directory. Just tell us a little bit about your day retreat that you've got.
So I'm teaming up with Amy Agnew, who is a yoga teacher, a naturopath. She wears a lot of hats. And it's called Beauty That Moves. And it's all about seeing yourself, expanding the idea of what beauty actually means. And it's not just about, being pretty or just the externalness. It's about shining out who you actually are. And it's like a day of exploring, because I think even with photo shoots, I do a lot of portraits for businesses and that. And we're doing it as like a kind of masculine reason, as like, to get something done because we need it for our website or something. And I love the idea of just being photographed for the sake of being photographed, in that feminine energy. Like, you don't have to have a purpose. This is art. You just get to see and experience yourself in that way for no reason. And you end up using them anyway, but that's not the point to start with. And yeah, so it's it's yoga, it's art, it's meditation, and then you have your photo shoot there. So yeah.
It sounds fantastic. It sounds fantastic. So if anybody does want to come along to that, there's probably a couple of tickets left still, and it's in Mount Gambier?
2 left, and it's on the 6th of August next weekend. Yeah.
Okay. But more things like that. So you're available to come to Adelaide. You're available to go anywhere, actually, aren't you?
Sure am. Yep, I love travel. And I still head up to Adelaide once a month and shoot, because I did live up there for a while. So I've got my client base up there still. So once a month I go to the city and then come back to the country for a few as well.
Fantastic. So anybody who is in Adelaide that wants to do like a glamour shot, or just a natural shot, or business photographs, then they can get in touch with you and book you in when you're up in Adelaide every month. Yeah. Okay. So Amy, you've got some ways of how to help people to feel to love being photographed. So please share with us some of those tips.
All right. So I've got my top 3 that I've come up with. And it's the old, like, your weakness becomes your gift. Like, I absolutely hate being photographed myself. If you've noticed, my headshot is so old and I don't even have a good headshot. So that's a bit ridiculous, but here we are. So
always the way, isn't it, when it's your trade?
Yeah, good. I got to get onto that. So tip number 1 is, before the photo shoot, decide that this is to celebrate yourself, your physical self. So I found we actually met through face reading, because that was about 6 years ago when you ran your first course. That was in Glenelg, and it helped me so much, because it was the first time that I realized that our face and our body is a map of the life that we've lived. And that just meant so much to me, because instead of thinking that you've got to change things and things aren't right, it's absolutely perfect. It's us. So it's that decision that you're going to go into the photo shoot of being like, I want to see myself and I want to show up and I don't need to wear a mask. This isn't like a logical thing. We don't need to think about it too much. The more in your head you get, the less present you are.
Sorry, Amy, we just lost you there. You just froze.
Sorry. Where did you lose me?
Right when you started. If you could just share that again, please. Sorry. You talked about going to the face reading event, and it was a map. the map of where you were at in life, and that's where we lost you. Well, I lost you. I don't know whether other people did, but yes, if you just repeat that, please. Sorry.
No worries. So, the face reading event helped me because I realized that, I'm not supposed to be another way. I'm supposed to be exactly as I am. And it's about embracing that uniqueness. We're not supposed to look a certain way or like what we see online. So when you're going into a photo shoot, it's really like make that decision that you want to show up as yourself and you want to be seen as yourself and you don't want to be wearing a mask. You want to celebrate exactly how you are. And I think the less in your head you are, the more present you can be during the shoot. And that absolutely shows through in the photos for sure. And going along with that tip too, I think that if we place all of our value in our physical self, that's obviously going to be terrifying when you go to a photo shoot because you're never going to be perfect enough or feel like you look perfect enough. So really like tapping into a meditation of how much value you have, like not physically, and how much you bring others just through the things you do and you say, not that that's even representing your worth either, you're worthy anyway. But I feel like that can be really helpful because that can be such a stress in that thinking that we need to look perfect when that's just not the case. It's more about that, that shining through. So tip number 2 is see it as an opportunity for growth. And I think that's really going to speak to this audience because they know all about that. But it's amazing how many levels that being photographed hits on. Like it undoes people. Like people get in front of my lens and it's just like, oh my God. And it's really interesting. If you come from this everything is an opportunity angle, you get to see like what is it bringing up in you? Like, and specifically like go into it. It's giving you a chance to look into it and accept it and integrate it. So it's just another avenue for that. And it's one of the funnest ways to do it. So I think that's a really one that if you keep practicing it and if you keep showing up in photo shoots and seeing yourself and allowing yourself to be seen, that's just invaluable.
Well, and it sounds like a bit of self-acceptance, and starting to love yourself more each time you embrace that and go, oh wow, these are actually beautiful photographs. I didn't see myself like that before, but that's what I am. That's who I am.
Absolutely, because you get to see yourself from somebody else's perspective, like the photographer's perspective, and we can see ourselves so differently. And I think that's probably my biggest superpower of being a photographer is that I find it so easy to see the beauty in someone. And seeing the vulnerability in someone is just so beautiful to me that I like it's ridiculous. And to then be able to photograph that and show that back to them, and they don't really even realize what's going on. They think, they're too busy in their head and being worried about things, and they get to see it and be like, no way, like that, that's what you see. And it's like, yes, absolutely. It gets us to get out of our filtered perspective and come at ourselves from a different angle. So yeah, it's awesome.
Oh my God, I just love your energy. When you are talking about this, your whole face lights up. Everything within you lights up because you can tell it's just your joy. It's your absolute joy. And what a divine gift to give to others to capture that. It's just gorgeous, and I love what you do. I love everything about you. So yes. Oh, and Sparkling Lotus Healing says, "Oh, you didn't freeze on this end." Okay, so it was just my end that you froze. Well, sorry, thank you.
You got to hear it twice.
That's okay. It's all good. Okay, so tip number 3.
So tip number 3, I like this one. This is about accepting this version of yourself. So our life, just like nature, is just this series of life, death, and rebirth. And that means that we have to just fall in love with ourselves over and over and over again. And it means that when we try and show up as the old version of ourselves or the future version of ourselves, it just doesn't work because there's it's not congruent. Like, if we want to do it when we're skinnier or when we're like more together or whatever, it's not authentic, and you can feel it and you can see it in the photos. And for some reason, it's like sometimes we think that the future version of us is going to be better or more polished, or, you know, I'll be more together by then. So you just want to keep putting it off. And that is actually one of the main reasons I love doing this as an event or a retreat style, because it puts a bit of structure in that it's at this date and at this time. But if you leave it up to a person to be like, when would you like to be photographed? It's kind of like, well, never or later.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason that I love doing it event style. It also catches people a little bit off guard, which I think is great, because like I said, when you're in your head too much, or when you're trying to think about it or want it to look a certain way, like, we have no control over it. I show up to a shoot and I have no idea what it's going to look like. I don't know what I'm going to get. I just trust. And I just know that if I show up with pure intentions and just to see the beauty in this person and what I can show back to them, I just know it's going to work. And that's so much in your work too, isn't it? It's, you know, we don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I know. Well, as you're sharing that, I'm thinking how intuitive your work is, and how spiritual it is, and how guided you are, and you know the whole process of it is to trust. And yeah, very very similar to the line of work that I do, and the viewers that listen to the show as well. It's all of that like-mindedness, and it just connects really beautifully. And it's actually given me a completely different perspective on being photographed. I'm like, oh, when can I come and have a photo shoot next? You know, I'm excited about it now, whereas before there was a lot of fear and self-judgment. But it was a few years ago since that photo shoot as well, so a lot has happened. And I guess that's one of my questions is, do you get to see the changes in clients when they come back, and do you get repeat clients that come back and update the photographs?
Yeah, and that is the really cool part. Usually, like, I've got clients that I've shot for, you know, up to the 10 years, and repeat clients are just the best feeling ever. And it's funny because a lot of people, you know, if they're business headshots, it'll be like, I've changed my hair, so I've got to get new photos, because that's, you know.
Yeah.
And for others, it's just to get the update and to keep documenting their life, which inspires me so much, because I'm shocking at documenting my own life. So when I see my clients and they're coming back to me, and I'm like, that's great, you're inspiring me to do that too. But the transformation, just even on the second shoot, is just ridiculous. So it can be a little bit scary on the first one, but, you know, then we go into it and it's fine. And then the second one, when they've done it, so they know that they've done it before, it's not this like unknown scary thing. They've seen the results and they love them. They know that it felt good, and they know that I'm there on their side with them. Like, all I want to do is help you feel and look good. Like, that is why I'm here. There's nothing else that you need to worry about. And if we don't get the shot, like, I'm going to keep going until we get the shot, or until you feel comfortable, or we'll do a reshoot. Like, we're just going to keep going. So yeah, definitely get to see the transformation.
And something that I want to ask, how many photographs would you typically take to get that shot? You know, that one where you've just gone, boom, that's it. So how many shots does it? I mean, I guess I'm asking how long's a piece of string, really, but anyway.
I can answer this in so many different ways.
Yeah.
I did used to be a wedding photographer, so I kind of have like this PTSD of just shooting a lot, because it's a wedding day and you might as well get a million. And I can calm down on that now. I don't need to shoot. Do a little bit. So I do take way too many. But I do find that my favorites always tend to be like what you'd consider probably an outtake. Like, it's never the perfectly like sharp shot or anything. It's kind of the one that's a little bit half in movement, and when they're really like shining through, it's definitely hundreds. I definitely take hundreds and then narrow it down. And I do find as well, like, me and my client can often have different favorites. Like, I'll look at one and be like, oh my God, like, that is amazing. And they'll be like, yeah, and be obsessed with another one. So, and it's just so personal. So, so I do it in that we shoot, and then I narrow it down to kind of the top 50 to, you know, maybe 50. And then we do a viewing together, and then they just select the ones that they love for edit. And then I'll edit those ones. And it's that you could literally buy as little or as many as you want. There's no obligation. But I've come up with it that way because that's how I would like it to be if I was being photographed. And I also feel like it takes the pressure off of being like, if you have to pay all this money, then you put a lot of stress on it. The photos need to be perfect. If you get to see them first, then you know what you're buying. It's kind of different. So I like to flip it that way around.
I like that uniqueness about you, and I like that. That sounds a much better way of doing business, as well as being with somebody personally on that level. The other question I just had that came into my mind is, do you find that people prefer a certain side of their face? They prefer the left or the right?
So, well,
Do you get that?
I wonder what you think from a face reading perspective, because definitely our left side is always our best, apparently, because it's our most expressive side. It's our feminine side. And I find with myself, I would prefer my left over my right. So I always ask the question, because to me, if I was getting my photo, that would be so important to me. But when I ask, people don't seem to know, either they're not really sure or they don't really mind. So yeah, not so much, but yeah, to me.
So they're not really aware. So yeah, the left side is the feminine and the intuitive, and that's how you really feel about yourself. So if somebody is a little bit private, they might not want to show their left side. They might want to show the face that they put on, the mask, if you like, to the world. I'm okay, my right side's fine, I'm doing okay, but inside you might not be. So just fascinating to go into that a bit deeper. I reckon we need to do something together.
Yeah, I did attend that course with Sean as well a few years back, but I need more. Like, this is good. I love faces. This is so interesting to me. So yeah.
It would be really, really exciting to just capture different aspects of the face and different parts of the whole, because the whole body. Anyway, it's not a face reading chat. It's a chat with you today, all about your photography. So I will pull back on that, but watch this space, because we might be doing something together that would just be really fascinating and unique. I can feel it. I can feel the cogs working already.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So when are you next in Adelaide, Amy, for anyone who's in Adelaide?
So my trip is the 17th, 18th, and 19th of August is my next one booked. And if you're interested in the shoot, or you just want to be notified when I do have any openings or events coming up, you can go on my website, and then there's a button that says something along the lines of, requesting to be notified. And you just pop in your email, and then I'll send whenever I've got events on. So
great. And we are looking at doing some kind of day retreat and photography event with a bit of sacred cacao and a few other bits and pieces, and doing a bit of a trip to Naracoorte, Millicent, Mount Gambier way. So we are looking at doing that later on the year with the Enlightened Tribe.
Cool. Sounds good.
So yes, it would be fantastic to have you come along and be part of that as well. So and so if anybody wants to book you for their own retreats that they're running and to include you in that, just explain a little bit how that would work if somebody wanted to bring you in as part of their event. Well, I guess it could work in any way, but
well, so there's a few ways. So it could either be that like, I've had some clients, say the host running the event, they could pay for the whole thing and then have, each person gets 2 photos. And then if anyone wants any more, they could buy them themselves. But the idea is just that they get to go. They didn't really even know that they were going to have a photo shoot. They were told that, they were told on the day, and then they had it and they loved it. Or we could do it in that I can just arrive on the day, and then it can be, everybody just separately doing their own photo shoot with me. So I think it's just whatever suits best. Like, what is the host wanting to bring? Is it wanting to be like an all-inclusive kind of thing where people don't have to worry about it? Or do you want it, that I show up and people get to do their own thing?
Yeah. So there's lots of different ways. And groups of men, groups of women, groups of people, parties.
All of the people.
Yeah, all of that
as well.
Yeah, all of that. So there is no limit, is there? You're basically open to everything, and you're also, as we've said before, open to going interstate and overseas as well. There's a world of opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone's looking for somebody who's just such a gorgeous, vibrant personality, so bubbly, full of life, that can capture the essence, the true core essence of you, you're it. You're definitely it.
Thanks.
So highly recommend people to go to see you, Amy, and they can find your website, amyagnewportraits.com.
Yep.
Right. And also on the Enlightened Tribe Global Wellness Directory at sushaw.com.au as well. So now I've just got a comment from Adair. She's made a few comments actually. She loves all your tips, making a photography session a celebration of self. And yeah, love it. Being yourself in the moment, which is what you touched on before as well. Yeah. So wow. Well, we are just about out of time, my darling. So I've had so much fun with you tonight.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been awesome.
Thank you. And yeah, thank everybody for listening. Leanne Forrester, this has been wonderful. Amy, your beautiful, authentic energy shines through.
Thank you.
It does. You're right, Leanne. It really does. And Marie Reed. Marie, hi again, darling. Thank you, ladies. So yeah, thank you everyone so much. Please let people know that this is going to be put up on the website as well. So and you can replay and watch it again and pass it on to other people if they want to get to know you a bit more before they book you in for their photography shoot.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I was going to say as well, so my social media is looking very bare at the moment. I've had a little bit of a hiatus and then I've deleted everything and I'm coming back through. So looking a little bit naked at the moment, but it will be building from now on. So
all right. Thank you so much, Amy. A delight always.
Thanks. See you guys. Thank you.
See you guys.
Thanks. See you guys. Thank you.
See you guys.